All right, Harry. Tonight's topic is the conversion story of the Apostle Paul. It's in Acts chapter 9, verse 3 and 4. Let me read it. It says, as he neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him, Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so here Saul, as and later known as Paul the Apostle, he was going he was persecuting the people in the church in Jerusalem, hating on the Christians, and then he was going to Damascus. And so he's on his way there when Jesus stops him and talks to him in this majestic way. And this is about 5 years after the ascension of Jesus. Then, and so a few days later, Jesus speaks to Ananias, a Christian, and sends him to restore Paul's sight that he lost in this event. And so, what was the message to Ananias? And this is what Jesus said: Paul is my chosen instrument to proclaim my name to the Gentiles and show him how much he must suffer for my name. So how soon does this all happen, this preaching world? So in Galatians 1:17 and 18, Paul tells how he went into the desert of Arabia, then into Damascus, and then after 3 years went to Jerusalem. Acts 9:30, there the Jews tried to kill him, and so his friends sent him back to his hometown of Tarsus. Acts 11:25, Barnabas goes back to Tarsus to find Saul, finds him and takes him to Antioch to help with the church there. Acts 18:2, Barnabas and Saul are now sent into the ministry, also called Paul's first missionary journey. So how many months from his conversion to start his ministry? Not months. It's now the year 46. 11 years have gone by. So it's one of the great events of the New Testament. Jesus was preparing his servant. Why so long? Only God knows. But I believe that Jesus was winding him up. So is this normal? God, Jesus, they have many normals in the Bible. Noah spent 100 years building the ark. Noah also didn't have any family till he was 500 years old. And all the others before that had family at 50 years or whatever. Abram had to be 100 years old and his wife Sarah 90 before they could have their promised son. Moses was 80 and had been a shepherd for 40 years when God called him back into Egypt to rescue his people. Joseph was a slave for 13 years before God redeemed him to let him rule. Then he had him wait 9 more years to redeem and meet his family. King David was anointed king as a teenager and then had to spend 10 years fleeing from King Saul before he got the throne. Daniel, on the other hand, was carried off to Babylon as a teenager, revealed the king's dream the next year, and was made a high official before he was 20. So what's the message here? It's really kind of simple. We love the Lord, be faithful, and be available. So many of these stories, I find them so interesting. Like God has lots of time, and He wants us to be available. He's testing us. King Saul did not wait on the Lord's timing, and that ended really sad. It all went south. But we might as well enjoy the wait because His ways are perfect. And if we're faithful, we're waiting on Him, the right thing ends up happening. Not that we're going to be any of these people or that, but the stories are parallel and similar. Other people like Gideon, God called the angel, went to him, and 2 weeks later he was fighting the battle. We don't know what's next, but we just got to do it on the Lord's time.
And just a quick question on that topic. How do we know God is calling us into something like that? How do we know our weight is up? What are your thoughts on that?
It's every day our weight is up. Every day we got to be faithful. Just do what's in front of us. That's it. The answer is yes. What do you have for me? And it's likely more of the same, but that's okay. We're in a good place. If we get ahead of God, it's not going to turn out well. And many Christians come up with a really good idea, and then they want God to bless it. Doesn't work that way. God's ideas and His plans are the ones that work, not our ideas.
Amen. Thanks a lot for this, Harry.
Thank you.